lot, chances are you're working on a laptop in cafes, airplane tray tables, and all kinds of positions on a laptop, which is really difficult on your joints. Especially the mouse, which is probably chances are you're using something that like this, the design of which has not changed much in the last 30 years. Put your hand and your arm in a really unnatural position, sort of downward facing. Most of the ergonomic mouses that are made are joystick designs. They're quite clunky and they aren't ideal for somebody who travels a lot. But they put your wrist in a much more natural position, which is sideways like this. I was pretty excited when Penclic sent me their take on the mouse. This is the Penclic R3 mouse. Got a nice ergonomic design. It's not a joystick and it works more like a moving pen.
It might seem a bit weird to review a mouse, arguably the most boring peripheral you can buy, probably because the design of mouses really hasn't changed in a long time. So when Penclic sent me their redesigned R3 wireless mouse, I was on the fence. I had been looking for something that was ergonomic and small, but most of the options that are on the market now are big joystick, bulky things that don't really work for somebody who travels as much as I do. Now, the Penclic looks like a joystick, but it really works more like a pen. It's got two buttons on the front, left click, a right click, and a scroll wheel down the middle. It's compact, it's light. Most of us have been using the same mouse design for so long that it's become second nature. And you really realize that when you have the Penclic in your hand. It takes some getting used to. In fact, it takes a lot of getting used to. Right clicks I found to be somewhat awkward, especially because I was trying to stretch my finger out in this unnatural position to hit the right click button, which I realize is a bad habit learned from years of using mice that just aren't good for your joints. But once you get used to it, you realize that the Penclic actually has some advantages over a normal mouse. First of all, it's way more accurate. You can use it really with the precision. You really can use it with a lot more precision than you can a traditional mouse. It would be great for people who are doing graphics work, people who doing CAD stuff. It's really a lot more convenient, especially if you don't actually have a touch screen, but want to be able to use and have the feel of a pencil in your hand. One thing that I notice a lot is people always comment on my mouse pad. They say, do you actually travel with a mouse pad? And the answer is yeah, because it makes it much easier to use a mouse, no matter what surface I happen to be working on, whether it's in a cafe or in an Airbnb or at a hotel. But the Penclic actually doesn't require a mouse pad. In fact, they don't want you to use a mouse pad at all. So it makes it so much easier to use it on a small, like a tray table and on an airplane or in a cafe table that's just sort of an awkward shape. Now, the Penclic feels almost like a fully realized product. There are just a few things that I feel like they could do better. The first is this sort of awkward position that the pen falls in when you're not holding it. It looks like it should stay upright, and then in the box it comes in, it actually does stay upright, which I feel like looks a lot better, and it also seems more natural. It's maybe an aesthetic thing. The Penclic never really falls down, even if you let it go abruptly, but it just doesn't. It's just a small design tweak that I wish they would make. Also, if you're left-handed and you use a right-handed mouse, which a lot of people do, it does take some more getting used to actually manipulate the cursor with your left hand.
So, would the Penclic be able to replace your mouse? Would I use it as a replacement? To be honest, yes and no. I think the biggest advantage to the Penclic is its size and the fact that it's really good for precise movement of the cursor. So graphic artists, people who use large screens, doing any kind of CAD work, this is the ideal mouse, I think. The no part is that it takes a long time. relatively long time to get used to it, because you have to unlearn everything that you've done with the traditional mouse for so many years. So it takes some getting used to, but definitely it feels better, if not a little bit awkward in your hand at first. There's less pain in your joints for sure, and then after a while you wonder how you use the traditional mouse for so long. So I'm going to leave this one up in the air and ask you to let me know in the comments below. Would you use a Penclic? Would you be willing to switch to a totally different type of mouse? Or are you going to stick with your traditional mouse and see what comes along maybe in the future? Let me know in the comments below, please. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Happy travels.